So this is the Kingdom Hearts character tier list, the official one, with my buddy Jimmy, James, J-Mac, James McAvoy, whatever you want to call him.
Whatever works. Any of the above.
Yeah, just call him Riku Fanboy 420.
Is that? I guess we'll find out if that's true.
Actually, that's my screen name, and you will find out if that's true.
Yeah, I guess we will. Find out if the fact you just told me is true.
So we start out with the main boy, Mr. Sora Disney, right here.
Sora, yeah, that's him. Sora Disney.
The best character ever exist ever, right?
He is. I mean, he is the Jesus of this game.
I think Sora suffered more than Jesus. There are like, what, 7 Kingdom Hearts games, and how many versions of the Bible are there?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I think if there was a sequel, then, we might find out.
Jesus was a Keyblade wielder.
Yeah.
Sora died for their sins.
Oh my god, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Wow, yeah.
So Sora is Jesus, confirmed.
Wow. I guess we gotta put him pretty high then.
Yeah. It's between S and A. The thing is, Sora... What's Sora's, character besides being all happy and hopeful?
Yeah, besides being the greatest of all time.
Exactly. His faults are that he's kind of dumb, but that's, every anime protagonist ever.
He's also really bad with technology.
He can't computer.
And I do really enjoy when him and Donald have beef, for no reason.
Oh, yeah.
Because sometimes I feel like that doesn't come up, but I feel like in some of the games that really comes up, and they just really get to scrapping.
Sora's only really had beef with villains and Donald.
Yeah, it's Donald specifically,
Yeah, we'll get to Donald. He's coming up. So, because he's a good playthrough person, you can kind of see yourself in Sora. Everyone's got a little Sora inside them. So I say we put him in A.
Okay, that's fine. I can agree with that.
Sora's an A+ kind of guy. So next is Riku, and no conversation, I will not buckle on this, he's S tier.
Okay, I think that's pretty fair. Riku is kind of the Prince Zuko of Kingdom Hearts,
Yeah, he outshines protagonists in every way and has a full character arc.
Yeah, it's the protagonist has a very clear, okay, I'm good, and I'm going to beat the bad guy, and this is my, straight line path. And Riku starts out, in the first game, he's just an asshole, and, I think as a kid when you're playing that, it's man, he's just rude for no reason. Why is he like this?
Well, one, because he's 15.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And all 15-year-olds are just assholes.
That is true.
And two, he's trying to help his friend.
Yeah. I think he has a good redemption arc.
His only mistake in the first game is just trusting really sus people, like Maleficent and Bag Boy and Ansem. And
obviously we'll get to it later, but I think his his mistake with that in the first game is definitely it makes a little bit more sense once you get into Birth by Sleep and you see the shit that Terra falls for.
Oh god, Terra.
So, yeah.
I fear for Terra's placement in this.
Yeah, I will also say that between the two of them, they both, between Sora and Riku, they both also play really well from just a gameplay.
Oh yeah.
Thing. So
Riku's kind of heavier in how he fights, especially in Chain of Memories, which that was the best part of Chain of Memories. I'm not even lying, playing as him.
Yeah, I never got to that until the remakes, and it was pretty good. I think I like that better in a lot of ways because you didn't have to craft a deck. It was just here you go.
Yeah, and he doesn't fuck around.
No.
Sora fucks around everywhere he goes. Every Disney World he goes to, he has to help everyone there. Riku's no, I'm here to get shit done. He almost killed Pinocchio in Monstro.
Yeah.
He took charge of Captain Hook's ship in Peter Pan. Didn't see him anywhere else because if he sees a place he doesn't want to be there, he just leaves and doesn't get involved in anything else.
There's no reason to.
And of course, there's no game when that happens, but And of course, there's so much to say about Riku, so that's why he is S tier.
That's it.
So next we have our girl, Kairi. She's had a glow up.
She has.
She's had a glow up through Remind.
Definitely.
And this is before Million Memories, where she might be S+ tier for what she does in that. We don't know yet.
Yeah, we'll see if she does anything in that.
She wakes up. She's not asleep, at least.
Yeah, it is very unclear how much of that game is going to be new plot information, which I'm sure there will be very damning plot information. But how much of it will be that, and how much of it will just be Guitar Hero?
I mean, every Kingdom Hearts game has something to do with like the lore. Even like Recoded, which like very loosely has stuff to do with the lore in terms of like data worlds and stuff.
I feel like this one's even more unique because I feel like even in Recoded it was like I don't know that I knew as much going into it or whatever, but like with Recoded there's like a story to it.
Kinda.
And like with this one, it's like all the gameplay footage is just them on the music track. It also shows the cutscenes, but I don't know, like there's no like hints as to how those like fuse together or anything, or how they like work together, so who knows. But
see, people who say Kairi is useless, when she is like the most useful character in the whole series, the game would have ended at 1 without Kairi.
Oh yeah,
she brought Sora back from being a Heartless. She brought Sora back in 2 from his memories to help Eraqus and bringing him to the world never was. And in 3, she brought everyone back from the end of time. She's a white mage, and people say she's useless for saving everyone. That's why the white mage never gets any legitimacy. Because just because you're not throwing around spells and Keyblades doesn't mean you're not useful.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say she's definitely underrated, especially in Kingdom Hearts 1. I think she gets a pretty bad rap for not having a character.
She's comatose most of that game, to be fair.
Yeah, she's pretty much the like, I guess the MacGuffin. I guess like they're like most of the game you're like chasing after her, like where is she at? But then when she does, have her mind and body to herself again, like there's that moment when Sora's the Heartless, and then all the other Heartless pull up, and then she just is like, I'm just whatever. I'm just gonna protect this one Heartless, and while it is kind of dumb, did work out. So, I think she's got a little bit of that Sora, I'm going to do everything to save the day, even if it's really stupid.
Yeah, and after training with Lee and Yen Sid, she's like stronger than, it looks like she's stronger than Sora and Riku, just in terms of how she plays.
Yeah.
Because she teleports, she has a nuke as a shot lock, she has like powerful spells, she can pretty much just fly. I kind of want to put her in A.
I think A is appropriate.
Yeah, because fuck everyone who says she's useless. All right, now we're the Dolan Dork.
Yes.
Mr. Donald Duck.
Mr. Donald himself.
So, Donald, for one thing, Donald is the strongest character in all Final Fantasy.
He's so powerful.
Yeah, because Zeta Flare is stronger than like Giga Flare, which is what the Bahamut uses, and that's like the strongest thing in Final Fantasy universe. Donald disintegrated Terranort.
That was pretty wild getting to that point.
And he didn't die. He just like got knocked out.
Yeah, he expended all his energy.
Exactly.
To shoot a nuke.
I don't know what was going on with 2 when they were like implying he would like become evil.
Were they?
It happened a couple of times because when they went to Yen Sid's place, they were like, "I will show you what a Heartless is," even though we already knew what a Heartless was. He showed Donald. And then he showed a Shadow Heartless. And he's like, even someone like you, Donald, could become a Heartless.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then in the Aladdin world, where he got all greedy with the diamond, and it looked like he was gonna kill everyone for that one diamond until like they took it from him. So like Donald has everyone has darkness inside them.
Right.
Donald seems to be one of the Disney characters they don't mind just putting darkness inside of.
Okay, so what I'm getting here is that you're saying that Donald is like the Jar Jar Binks of Kingdom Hearts. In that he was predicted to be the most evil, and while he's not quite that evil, he's still extremely powerful and not a force to be reckoned with.
Donald didn't cause Ansem, because Jar Jar caused the Emperor to happen.
That is true. That's true.
Like, if Donald somehow caused Xehanort to, like, win, then I would say yes, Donald is a Jar Jar Binks. He doesn't really have a character besides Mad. Like, that's the only time he ever really has a character. He's okay, which is why I think C is a good place to put Donald.
I think that's pretty fair, yeah. He hasn't had too many, like, big moments besides the recent one.
That's why he's not D. Zeta Flare made him not D.
Because I think before that, everyone was just shitting on Donald for the healing and the lack thereof and all that, and that was a big meme, but I think he's started to redeem himself, and we'll see where he goes with that.
Big things for Donald in the future.
Big things coming.
So next is Mr. Goof.
I would probably put him, I would say at least B.
I don't know. I'm thinking higher because Goofy is like one of the smartest people in the series. Not even kidding. He's definitely smarter than Sora, which is not a big thing. He's like as smart as Mickey. Goofy's done a lot.
He's like the unsung hero.
I know, because he blocked a full-on attack from Terranort with his shield. He got knocked back, but he still just straight blocked it.
He also, in Kingdom Hearts 2, pushed Mickey out of the way and took that boulder to the dome. And we all thought he died, and that would have been it.
We all thought he died, legitimately. We thought Disney would be fine with us just killing Goofy with a blunt force trauma to the head.
It was pretty intense, but, you know, he put his life on the line time and time again. And I'll also mention the fucking, in Kingdom Hearts 1, he broke the rule. Like, he was the reason that, because Riku stole the Keyblade from Sora, and Sora had to chase him down with a wooden sword that he somehow got. And it was just Sora and the Beast had got locked out, and Riku was going to whoop his ass. And because, you know, Donald and Goofy were like, well, we have to follow the Keyblade. That's what the king said. And Goofy was like, nah, I'm tired of all this. I'm going to stick with my boy. And then the speed of which he got around the room when Riku shot the fireball at Sora to block it is like insane.
That happens again in Keyblade Graveyard, because he's like 10 feet away from... Well, he was 10 feet away from Kairi, and then a snap just blocked. So he can teleport, apparently.
Yeah, he's extremely fast.
And, like, see, yeah, Donald, he's C tier because he would have let Sora die. If it wasn't for Goofy. I kind of want to put him in S tier.
You know,
come on. Where will we be about Goofy?
I can go with A.
Fine. We can meet in the middle there.
We'll put him in an A.
A tier. Next is Mr. Michael Mouse, the king himself, the king of pop. Okay, so first thing. Are you one of those people who gives him shit for leaving Aqua in the Realm of Darkness for a while?
You know, I try not to think about that
I have
too
a
much.
defense for that.
Okay.
Okay, because he didn't know she was in there for the longest time. Because he just thought they all died. Because he didn't know she sacrificed himself to save Terranort. He didn't know that. And he didn't see her till they met in the Realm of Darkness when he was already there going after the Kingdom Key D. And then he couldn't save her because she got whisked away by the demon tide. And his shirt came off and he was embarrassed. That's why his back is towards him, because he has a belly but didn't want to show it. And then what happened? He had to save Riku throughout the Realm of Darkness. Had to hook up with him in the Castle Oblivion. Had to help him through there. Then had to find a way to save Sora for a year while being undercover in his little suit and helping Ansem Riku solve that problem. And then he had to go through all of 2. And then when he got home for like a week and he sent the bottle with a message in there, okay, now we need to save everyone who's in the Realm of Darkness. Like, am I missing something?
Yeah, you know, and
he was busy.
Yeah, and I think, you know, it very well could have been that he like wanted that, he just didn't know where they were, and then that's why he really infiltrated the organization, was to figure out, you know, where the hell everyone was at.
Like, he isn't like the best character, because like I don't think Disney can really have him struggle that much, because Disney can't have Mickey Mouse do anything wrong.
No, of course not.
But again, Remind gave him another shining moment where he just fought off 12 Xehanort shadows.
Yeah, that was pretty badass.
While he was literally about to die. So I can't say he's as good as Goofy though, because has Mickey sacrificed himself for anybody?
Not really.
Exactly. See, the thing is about these 4 characters up here, they sacrificed themselves for somebody.
They have.
These three anime characters and Goofy.
You know, so those 4 anime characters.
Yes. So I would put him in B.
I think that sounds good.
The king falls today in B. So next we have the best character to ever exist in Kingdom Hearts, according to every single person who's ever lived, Terra.
Okay.
Terra's stupid.
He's very stupid.
He's so stupid. Like, at least Riku, he was desperate enough to trust Maleficent and Ansem. Like, he was trying to protect Kairi, and he was overcome with, like, malice towards Sora for stealing from him. Like, we could kind of get... And he's 15. So you can kind of see Riku's reasoning. Terra is, like, 25 or whatever.
Yeah, and Riku was trapped on that island and had had no way to like leave. Like Terra had like the little power-up armor and all that. Like he was like set. I still don't know how he was convinced to do all the like evil stuff that he got like wrapped up in. like not even the Xehanort stuff, but like it's like what, like not even like 30 minutes into that game where he like gets possessed by Maleficent to like
tears out Sleeping Bell's beating heart.
Yeah. Like what happened? You were literally just at your like master's place being like, "Oh, this will be good." And then you fall into a trap of the like most evil looking man to ever exist.
And like the evil queen from Snow White, she's like, "Yeah, go up there and kill this person." And he leaves. Like, I'm not sure if he was really going to do it, but he's like, I'll see what happens. We'll see where the day takes me. Like, I can kind of get Captain Hook because Peter Pan's a piece of shit. And I love when you kick his ass in Perfect by Sleep. That's one thing that gives him credit. When Xehanort took over his body, he didn't dodge. When Xehanort shot out his heart, he's like, I'll put my armor on. What the fuck is that gonna do? It's a heart. It's like ethereal.
Yeah, that would have been pretty awkward.
Would have been it. And then he's just a slave for the next few games as a heartless. And then I guess somehow he just like kind of like remembered like, oh wait, I'm not a guardian, I'm a person.
Yeah, he broke out the chains.
So Terra, I'll put him in D for dumbass.
Yeah, he's also he moves slow.
Oh my god.
It's that like the start of that is such a pain because you have to like really grind to get anywhere with him.
Dude, fighting every secret boss in Birth by Sleep is impossible because he doesn't have iframes when he dodges. He just moves out of the way.
Oh yeah, he was pretty hard to do that with.
Like, I had cheese, like the Vanitas Remnant, so bad. I was embarrassed to be playing this.
And there's so many secret bosses in that game.
And they're all bad.
Yeah. And you have to beat all of them 3 times.
Oh, when I found that out, I wanted to cry. There's a reason that Platinum is, like, the lowest of all the Kingdom Hearts games. Because you gotta do everything 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's like 3 Platinums, but you only get 1.
Yeah, and it's such a scam with the secret bosses because the secret boss has its own trophy for getting beaten, but then you also have to do the missions or whatever one it is for each character.
Yep.
So you beat it the first time and you get the trophy that's like, oh, you beat the secret boss, and you're like, oh, I'm done.
Nope.
And you're like, oh no, I am actually not anywhere close.
You need to put them in the journal. Put them in the journal. All right. Best girl, Aqua. Like, people say she's one of the best characters in Kingdom Hearts, and she's definitely up there.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely sacrificed a lot, I guess.
Basically her sanity.
Yeah, she was kind of chilling in there for a while.
She was trapped in there for 10 years. I don't know how long she felt it was, because apparently time works different in the Realm of Darkness. But we saw in point 2, she was losing her mind by that time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Being just like no sunlight whatsoever and being like attacked on all sides by like just like Heartless. She's like one of the darker characters because shit just keeps happening to her for no reason.
Yeah, it's definitely like she definitely has an interesting arc of like, especially in Birth by Sleep, because she kind of starts out with getting them. She's also, I think, the first person we see become master.
Yeah.
So that was like pretty interesting, but then it's like she gets it and Terra doesn't, and it's like, oh no.
Terra's a little bitch boy.
And then she just has to follow cleaning up after him from like world to world for a while and like get all that figured out.
It's chasing Ven and cleaning up after Terra.
Yeah, it's like she has to constantly do that. But then at the end of the game, or in the final episode or whatever it's called, then she's like, oh, I guess I'll just, clean up for Terra one more time and sacrifice myself so that his possessed body can live on.
Like, she didn't know if Terra was still in there. She just saw Terra was possessed by, I'm not sure if she knew it was Xehanort or not. But she's like, he's not going to die in there. So just keep him in there and, like, deal with him later. But no, I'm Saint Aqua. I need to just launch him and sacrifice myself. Well, I just left Ventus, who could have starved to death inside Castle Oblivion. Because I don't know, I guess you don't need to eat if you don't have your heart.
Yeah, if you're just comatose. I don't know how that works. And I'll also give bonus points for, like, I don't know how much time was in between the end of Birth by Sleep and then the start of 0.2, but at the start of 0.2 she's like level 60.
Oh yeah.
So
unless you platinumed, then she went down.
Yes, but even then, if it was a significant amount of time, she didn't like downgrade that much. So she's obviously was doing something right down there, I guess.
She's not Sora, who has to start from level 1 over and over again.
Every time. Which is very interesting that there's like always a story reason as to why.
But Riku has never done that, so he's like level 100. He's like been level 100 since Cage 2.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right.
But Roxas beat him in 358 Days Over 2 until he got a multiplier and became Ansem. This is like Dragon Ball shit where you're just comparing power levels.
Well, I would say he probably had to go back to level 1 after he, tore his like face mask off.
Oh, because it's a new class.
Yeah, he had to like restart.
Oh, okay, I can see that. That's why he fought. That's why he was like head to head of Sora in Cage 2 when he was like Ansem form, when he could have just blasted Sora to oblivion.
And then in Dream Drop Distance, he was a Dream Eater, so he had to start over again.
New class. So Riku, he keeps changing classes.
Yeah, so he's not getting beat like Sora is.
Nah, he's got variety.
Yeah, he's basically choosing to.
And also with not just like being trapped in the realm of darkness, but just like she didn't become a Nort. I don't think. I think she just got corrupted by darkness, and that's what happens when you get corrupted by darkness.
Yes, I think that's what that is.
You just get gray hair and yellow eyes. But like she still had to go through that, and all her anger just like got unleashed. And then started to kick her ass and tell her, calm down, woman. Because Sora's a pimp.
And I think up until Donald did the Zeta Flare, she's probably above him in like terms of magic until that moment.
We don't know how old Donald is.
No, that's true.
We don't know how old any Disney characters are. We just know that they've been around since black and white times.
Which, like, what does that even mean?
They could be like 1,000 years old. And Aqua's like 19. So I would put Aqua in A just because after Riku, she's the best character arc, but just not as good as his.
That's fair, yeah.
So A for Aqua. It fits. And next is Ventus, the sleeping sack.
Roxas Jr.
Roxas Jr. Roxas Sr.
Roxas Sr., I guess.
He was first.
Yeah, because I guess the answer to the question of why does Ventus look like Roxas is actually that Roxas looks like Ventus.
Or they just didn't want another character design.
Or they just went, hey, you guys like this guy.
Yeah.
Well, here he is again, kind of.
With one Keyblade that he holds backwards.
Yes. That, you know what? I'll give him style points for that. Because it's definitely... Nobody else does that.
Like, to me, he's just kind of less interesting than Sora. Well, not okay. Interesting in terms of personality, because he has lore. He's one of the most lore-heavy characters so far.
Yeah. Speaking of that, do we give him bonus points, or do we take away points for him murdering someone?
Bonus points.
Okay.
Because the only person we've seen do that is Xehanort. Very few characters straight up murder people in Kingdom Hearts.
Axel also murders someone.
Oh, Axel decimates Vexen.
He is like one of the best, so yeah.
Body count counts toward score.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ventus... I definitely think he, at the start, like when you first get introduced to him, he gets kind of points just for being like Roxas look-alike.
That's less for me, but...
I mean, I think... Maybe not points, but I think there was like an interesting factor for me when I first turned the game on. It was like, I'm going to start with him because he looks like Roxas and I want to know why. And I didn't get my answer from that, I don't think. But he got really interesting in the last, like, at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, even without all the, like, complicated Union Cross stuff that is, like, a pain to understand.
Mm-hmm.
The end bit of Kingdom Hearts 3 where he's, like, where the three of them team up again at the Land of Departure, and then like the Chirithy like runs out from the corner.
Oh yeah.
It's like what is happening? Like, how old is he? And, like, what's his thing going on?
Almost as old as Donald. Probably 900 years old.
Because we're gonna have to get this answer at some point to the timeline. But then it's like, if Ventus is this old, how many generations behind like Eraqus is he? And like, so like. I don't know.
But the thing is,
weird.
Union Cross just all might be a data world, so time might just not matter.
We know it's in the past because Maleficent is trying to get back to the future, I think.
Oh, and also, Union Cross, they basically explained how Maleficent came back in Cage 2, when we didn't need that.
Yeah, no.
We just thought, oh, she's so evil, she can just come back like Freddy Krueger if you remember her name. Like, no. People remembered her, and she had a fragment of her, which is her cloth, therefore she could just travel to the future from the past before she died. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's funny because I think when I was a kid, when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and it was like, oh, she's back. I thought it was just that, like, oh, Pete just brought her back, which they kind of explain in that game through the, like, flashbacks in Timeless River. It's just, like, from Pete's perspective, and he's just like, oh, man, I'm gonna bring Maleficent back. And then he does. But it turns out that he didn't do anything.
Nope, he was just there.
But I also think that part of the reason of them explaining that in Union Cross is so that they can use that for a different character and be like, oh, you know what we're talking about.
Like, all of this could have been, like, changed if Ventus just had a different design. Because now they had to explain why he's, like, here, why he looks like all that. He's, like, the most complicated character in Kingdom Hearts, which is hard to believe.
He is, because he was in one game for a while.
And also, he was, like, a princess of heart for a while, because his heart had no darkness inside of it.
Yeah.
So, canonically, only, like, Kairi, the Disney princesses, and Ventus have had hearts of pure light.
What's interesting about Ventus, too, I think, that sort of connects to that, is he's, like, he sort of feels like what happens when you start asking a lot of questions about, like, when you just start, like, asking what ifs, you know, because he's like what if you combine your heart with somebody else's heart, and then that person becomes a heart, and, like, you know, he's like all the weird extremes and, like, exclusionary situations, and, like, that's what he is.
Like, with most Kingdom Hearts characters, you can explain, like, what their deal is. You can't do that with Ventus, because even we don't really know what the fuck his deal is with. Because we thought after Birth by Sleep, okay, he's done, that's his whole character, and then he came back in 3, but no, in Union Cross, they just elevated him to this godlike status where no one can understand him. And I bet you when we get the answer, we still won't fucking get it.
No. Do we even know why, like, what his connection is to Master Xehanort? Like, why did Xehanort
No!
bring him to Eraqus? Okay.
We all just assumed, okay, he's just some kid Xehanort picked up. But maybe he knew Xehanort when he was a kid, or something. We don't know.
So my prediction is that I think that Ventus is, like, in Union Cross. I think he's, like, a couple generations behind Xehanort, so I don't think that they ever meet. But I think that maybe, like, Xehanort gets a hold of, like, maybe not the Book of Prophecies or something, but some kind of information, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna go get that guy, or something like that. Like, maybe he travels back in time and kidnaps him.
I think Xehanort kind of suspected what Ventus was, in terms of, like, his connection to the past, because Xehanort's all about, like, the past and the prophecy, and of course, Ventus was there. And also, maybe he knew about the darkness inside him, or Vanitas.
I mean, I guess he got him to try to create the X-Blade or the Keyblade or whatever you want to call it, but it makes sense in the context of Birth by Sleep, because it's like, oh, he got this being of pure light and being of pure darkness, but then when you find out from Union Cross that he's from, like, maybe 1,000 years ago, then it's like, wait, how did Xehanort get a hold of him? Like, what was that process? So I'm curious to see what that becomes.
So, of course, lore-wise, he's, like, top tier. Personality-wise, he's kind of eh. So I just put him in B.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
B. Now, speaking of Xehanort and Eraqus, we have Eraqus. Bonus points for me by being played by Mark Hamill, just cuz.
Yeah, very interesting. Just from, like, a Mark Hamill thing, he's interesting because he plays a bunch of random people that, like, you don't realize until you, like, look it up and you're like, oh, that's him. Oh, now it's all I can hear.
Is Eraqus Asian to you?
I always assumed so.
Yeah, because that's Mark Hamill's second Asian man role after Pilot Ozai. As far as I know, he might have played other Asian people, which I think is interesting. Anyway, so Eraqus at face value, he's kind of bland, but I think there is, like, a complication to him. He's, like, so obsessed with the light, and that makes him kind of a bad guy. He's a reason it shows you need balance between light and dark. Because being all dark is, of course, evil and stuff, but being all light, it made him so obsessed with defeating darkness that he would kill his own kids, pretty much.
Right, yeah, and he kind of does jump to a conclusion there at the end when he's like, I'm just gonna kill Ventus.
It would have worked, right? Because without Ventus, you can't make the Keyblade.
Yeah, I guess, but
it just shows how blind he was.
That kind of happened anyways in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Like, because Ventus, the Ventus Vanitas fight, Xehanort was trying to speedrun getting the Keyblade.
Yeah.
Because then he would have had to find 13 people of darkness, 13 people of light, and that would have been a hullabaloo. But no, I'll just find this one boy, cut him in half, have them fight Keyblade.
Yeah, he tried to make it's like if you find a recipe for 20 people and you try to make enough for yourself.
Yeah.
Except he didn't even get the proportions correctly, so I don't know what happened there.
And like, of course, Dark Road is still going on. So we should be able to see more of Eraqus and like how he got to where he was.
Because in the Birth by Sleep, you have Eraqus who's like super stoic and like, I need to protect the students and the light and whatnot. And then according to Dark Road, he's like the big jokester that everyone's like, oh, classic Eraqus. So I'm predicting that some kind of event happens or he gets betrayed in some way that makes him be like grumpy.
Well, the thing is, he trusted Xehanort pretty much up until a little bit before Birth by Sleep. Because there's a flashback to where Xehanort explains what he wants to do with the Keyblade War, and Eraqus is like, don't do that, and then Xehanort shoots him in the face with darkness, and that causes a scar. So they were like at least kind of buddy-buddy up till then.
I don't think he can be super high because he doesn't do a whole lot. And then he just kind of pulls up as a Force Ghost at the end. And it's just like, we did it, guys.
Because at least they hinted kinda that could be a possibility. Because in the Birth by Sleep secret episode, Terra's like, oh, that's Eraqus made me not lose my heart. And Xehanort's like, oh, that fucking Eraqus, I hate that fucker.
Yeah, isn't he like in Terra's heart or something
I guess. Like, we see him get disintegrated.
Yeah. Because
he got shot in the back.
I like vaguely remember like something about him being in like Terra's heart and like helping to keep Xehanort out or something.
Yeah, that's what like Xehanort's like. I'm still here because of Eraqus, and like we didn't know if that was like metaphorical or literal. Mm-hmm. Like, of course we all knew it was literal because no one fucking dies in Kingdom Hearts. So I would put him in C just because he's kind of cool, and like we're gonna know more about him. It's not like he's just over and done with.
Yeah, and he's, not only is he voiced by Mark Hamill, but he also is voiced by Drake Bell.
Drake Bell got canceled a little bit ago, so we got to cut that out.
So never mind. So that's actually a downgrade.
That's why he's not. That's why he's not in B.
That's it.
We knew that.
Uh huh.